When I get to work, I'm like a maniac. Hi everyone, welcome to my live show. I'm so glad to see all of you here. Write into the comments where you're from if you're having a great day. I'm not going to bore you with lengthy saying hello stuff. I'm going to do a 12-minute presentation for you on Neurosignature diversity, the brain-friendly workplace, why talented people quit and how to get them to stay. And then afterwards, I'd love to do a Q&A session with you. I have my wonderful producer, Melanie, in the background. So she's going to pull up your comments and she's going to pull up your questions in the end. So let me get started, and please use the comment function because we're going to pull up those comments so we can make this a little bit more interactive. So let's get started. I live in a household of little diplomats. I have 5 kids aged 4 to 9, and here is how they love to resolve conflict. Yes, they love to stick out their tongues. Can you please do that for me? Can you please all stick out your tongues? I don't need to see what you had for lunch. I just want you to quickly stick out your tongues. Embrace your inner diplomats. Great. And now that we've all mastered that, could you please roll your tongue like this? Yay, excellent, thank you. That was a bit more difficult. You might be thinking, why did she ask us to roll our tongues? The thing is, it seems like a very fair challenge, the same for everyone, when in reality, it's deeply unfair. 4 out of 10 people are unable to roll their tongues. And I think this is similar to the workplace we have today. We're asking everyone to work according to the same standards, when in reality, we are all different. Not just our tongues are different, our brains are different. I'm a neuroscientist. I work with Fortune 500 companies across the globe on how to work smarter, better, and happier using neuroscience. And I'd like to share with you today why talented people quit and how to get them to stay. I think we need to make the workplace brain-friendly, and we need to expand our understanding of diversity to also include something that I call neurosignature diversity. What is neurosignature diversity? Stay tuned. When I worked in consulting, they loved to evaluate me. Oh my God, it went like this. And they would say, the clients, they rave about you. They love you. They can't stop talking about you. What are you doing with a client? Wow, keep it up. And 6 languages, you're fluent in 6 languages? Wow, impressive, huh? Great, great, keep it up. And then they would go and say, what is this? Are these your Excel skills? Are they really that terrible? Are you kidding me? How do you think did I spend the remaining 2.5 years at that company? I did Excel for beginners, Excel for the advanced, and Excel for the hopeless. I was stuck in the basement crunching numbers from morning to evening, while my colleagues were out and about entertaining the client and traveling to different countries. I felt like Cinderella with a laptop. I was stuck sweeping the floor while they were dancing at the ball. The way we are working isn't working. How did I solve that situation? I quit. And I'm not the only one. At the moment, we have a mass resignation going on with 40 million quitters since 2020, according to Business Insider. Did you know that 2 out of 3 people would love to quit their current job? That is serious. And if we want to keep those people, we have to understand something that I call neurosignature diversity. So let's take a look at what that could be. Here, we have performance. Up here it's high, and down here it's low. And over here we have stress levels. So here you would be in a coma sleep, and over here you'd be close to a panic attack. So what happens exactly in your brain when you're bored? You're sitting in a meeting, 2 hours have passed, and people are still introducing themselves. I studied at Harvard. I studied at Stanford. I love kittens. I love puppies. All you can think is, this could have been an email. And your brain isn't going into peak performance then. What happens when you're stressed? You're about to give your most important presentation ever to your biggest client, and right when you're about to start your presentation, your computer starts an update. We can't think straight when we're either bored or stressed. Our brain doesn't like boredom. Our brain doesn't like stress. You want to be up here. That's where the magic happens. You want to be in peak performance. Scientists even call this state flow. And when you're in flow, you lose the concept of time. You're fully present here and now, and you love what you do. It's not just a joyful state, it's a productive state. You can be up to 5 times more productive if you know how to get there whenever you want it, whenever you need it. So the big question is, how can we get there? What can we do? We shouldn't be in boredom, and we shouldn't be in stress, because in both instances, your brain shuts down and isn't doing anything important. You need to be what I call slightly over-challenged, when the task is just a little tiny bit too big for you. That's where you want to be. That's the magic zone. Surfers become one with a wave. Mountain climbers become one with a mountain. And my tax advisor, Lutger, he becomes one with his Excel sheet. It sounds simple, but it's much more tricky than that. So let's take a look what makes this tricky. So here again, we have stress levels and performance. Some people, they are over here. They love stress. They love challenges. They love competition. You will find them flying across the globe, always on new adventures. They have a lot of energy and they love to invent, and they're very curious. I have a friend, after a long week of hustling and long hours in the office and lots of travel and meeting, when people like you and I lay on the couch watching Netflix, she's out and about and she's running the marathon or doing base jumping. That's why sensation seekers are these people. This is why scientists call these people sensation seekers, or even dopamine junkies, because they always crave more. They have a very active dopamine system, and so they always need more outside stimulation to reach their best performance. And which professions can we find those people? Entrepreneurs, leaders, people who do extreme sports. Many people who have a very active life tend to have a sensation-seeking neurosignature. But what about the people over here? Some people require less stress to reach their best performance. And when I ask people where we can find them, they usually say, accountants, bureaucrats, boring people who lead very boring lives and who have even more boring jobs. And I say, it couldn't be farther from the truth. Here we have Pulitzer Prize-winning authors who write a book and refine it until it's perfect. The people over here, they would love to have their name on a book. They go on vacation, they take their laptop, they sit down, words start flowing off that page. They look outside the window, and what's going on outside? Somebody is doing stand-up paddling. They run for the door to never return. While the people over here, the deep thinkers, they get it done. Here we have Nobel Prize-winning scientists who focus on one tiny molecule for 20 years and find the cure for cancer. If you were to have heart surgery tomorrow, would you take the heart surgeon who tells you that he's a little bit bored and wants to try new things? Or would you take somebody who's very risk averse, very cautious, and who truly cares about you and all those checklists? I know what I would take. If you were to hire a lawyer, how would you feel when your lawyer tells you, "Oh, I didn't read all that boring paperwork. Who does that anyhow? Tomorrow in court, we're just going to wing it. I see the big picture." When I hire a lawyer, I want somebody who knows all the paragraphs by heart and who finds the footnote on page 365 fascinating. In the business world, we need both. We all have what I call different neurosignatures. What is your neurosignature? It's your unique cocktail of neurotransmitters and hormones that shape your personality. And your neurochemical signature determines where you fall on that curve. So whether you're to the left or to the right or somewhere in the middle depends on your neurosignature. Make no mistake, when I was drawing these curves, all these bars here, they have to be at the same level. Let me just get the right color. So here, they have to be at the same level. So it's not that we have the low performer over here and the high performer over there. Everybody can be a high performer. What is different is the kind of environment you need to make your performance shine. I have a discovery to share with you. I analyzed data from 30,000 executives, and here's what I found. I found a neuro gap. What is the neuro gap? It turns out that executives at the top of organizations tend to be sensation seekers. The workplace is not diverse at all. In fact, it's crowded by people who love high-stress environments, who thrive on gallons of coffee, and who don't need much sleep. That's great for them, but it alienates the rest of us. So the deep thinkers are quitting, and they're taking their skills and talent with them. The mass resignation is no mystery at all when you understand neurosignature diversity. We need a workplace that works for all kinds of brains rather than just one type of brain. We need a workplace where deep thinkers can focus while sensation seekers can go out and explore. We need silence and solitude and sex, drugs, and rock and roll. When we understand neurosignature diversity and expand our understanding of diversity to also include how different brains think, the future of work is bright. Don't change the people, change the workplace. That was my presentation. I'd like to see if there's anyone here who has any comments or questions, and I'd like to see if we can pull those up. Any questions here? Now's your chance. We're going to do a quick 5 to 10 minute Q&A, just maybe 3 questions. So if there are any from the audience, now is your time to pose those questions, or otherwise we're just going to end the session because I'm not going to talk to myself. I can do that, but I think it wouldn't be very interesting. So let's see if there's any questions here from the audience. I see that a lot of people have joined and commented, but nobody has any questions. So I guess everything is clear. Let's just give it a moment to come up here because there's a delay. Nothing? Okay, I'm counting down. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we have something. Yeah, Veronique says, thank you. And I see that Elsa has a question. How can companies apply this in a hybrid workplace? Well, I think it's important to understand that it's not so much about a physical workplace. So when I say workplace, I mean workplace culture. I think we need to understand that some people want to have their cameras on and other people need to have their cameras off. Some people love going to a crowded cafe and listening to music while they work, while other people need silence and solitude. So rather than assuming that everybody has your neurosignature, I think we need to understand that we can create our own offices and our own workspace, and we need to be respectful of that. Some people might be morning person, other people might be evening people. So it really comes down to respecting each other's differences and to improve our communication about that. How do you suggest that we inform the quick leaders about neurodiversity? Well, I think, as you've seen, I've used some positive example because they tend to be very quick to have negative judgments about anybody who's not similar to themselves. So it's good to show them which traits people bring to the workplace that they don't have. For example, people with a sensation seeker neurosignature tend to have many ideas, but then they're not implementing them, or they tend to move on very quickly to many topics, but then they miss an important detail. Same thing with, I haven't mentioned it, but we also have high testosterone and estrogen neurosignatures. People with high testosterone neurosignatures, and that can be men and women, they tend to have a focus more on things and processes and less on the people. So they need high estrogen neurosignatures to complement them. When I work in a team, I always seek out people who are different from myself because they can do things that I can't do. And I think that's how I would talk to the sensation seekers about this. The high serotonin neurosignatures, they will look for detail. They will pay attention. They will not miss the things that you miss. What is the best way to measure neurosignatures? Well, there are tests you can take. My data was taken from a company called Neurocolor that measure neurosignatures. But I think it's actually more simple than that. You can observe other people. I think there are certain traits associated with different neurosignatures. So it's more the question, how do I react to a certain situation? And once you have a better understanding of neurosignatures, you can actually find it and recognize it in other people very quickly, just by the usage of words they have. So I think, personally, I think if we think about this a little bit, and if we observe the people around us, we can pretty much guess their neurosignature without having to do any testing. That's my personal take on it, but of course you can also measure it. You could go so far to get urine or blood samples from your coworkers, but I don't think we want to do that. So it's about enhancing your self-awareness and also observing the people around you and understanding their traits. Does the industry define the work environment? Yes, very good point. So for example, investment banking is a quick business. You do need people to be quick because, if you're too late to buy certain stocks, shares, they're gone or their value has changed. So it's really important to be quick. So in certain professions, we need certain neurosignatures. I would say if you're a lawyer, you better be detail-oriented and, really read all the paperwork. So I think certain neurosignatures seek certain workplaces. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's just important that you understand which kind of work culture, which kind of job would fit to your neurosignature, rather than always trying to adapt. Because I've seen it too many times that leaders contact me and they say, I'm so stressed out and I can't sleep at night anymore. Do you have any miracle neuro hack for me? And of course I do. I mean, we can all benefit from exercise or meditation or breathing work and all kinds of mental things you can do. But if you're a sensation seeker and you work in a work environment that's more suited to deep thinkers, you will always be bored. And if you're a deep thinker and you work in a work environment that's best for sensation seekers, you'll always be stressed out. So the number one advice I have is understand your neurosignature and find a workplace that respects it, where you can work in line with your strength rather than in line with your weaknesses. Is there any study on leavers confirming that they tend to be deep thinkers? Well, there's no studies exactly on neurosignatures, but I think we have statistics that show why people are leaving. And they often leave because of bad bosses, high stress environments, too demanding work schedules. They leave because there's not enough respect for their personal time, or they can't integrate family life in the office. And if I look at this, what I see is they're leaving a sensation seeker workplace that doesn't respect what they need to perform at their best. So the simple answer is no. Nobody has studied different neurosignatures and why people are leaving. But at the same time, when you look at the data, that's pretty much what you will see. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. Thanks for the great presentation. Really interesting content. So let's wrap it up here. Maybe I take one more question and then we wrap it up and let you go on with your life. Being in mid-management, how can we get buy-in from higher management? Well, I think one simple way is by showing the traits you bring to the table. Many years ago, I had a boss who was very much a sensation seeker, and I'm also a sensation seeker, but not to that extremes. And I sat him down and I said, listen, you want me to bring my best performance to work, right? So these early morning flights are freaking me out. I don't want to wake up in a different city every morning. Here's the things I need to do my best work, and you do want my best work. I think it's always best to come in from the performance angle, showing people what you need to really deliver what they want from you. I think we need to focus on results and not so much on what you need to do to get there, but rather what do you agree on what you should be doing and what's the best environment you need to do that. Okay, thank you, Sohaib. Great presentation. Thank you for sharing the knowledge and insights. Highly appreciable. Thank you. Maybe one more question and then we close down for today. I'm happy to come back here soon for another LinkedIn Live. Is a neurosignature permanent? Oh, that's a very important question that I think I'll finish off with. No, it's not. So we all have a certain neurosignature that's a bit like a temperament we are born with, but it's only 50% nature and 50% nurture. So I'm not saying people are in these boxes and you're doomed. People can grow, people can develop. For example, I have a dopamine estrogen neurosignature, so I am a bit of a dopamine junkie, but I also have a lot of people focus and I'm not so crazy in my work schedules. That said, I can be different in different situations. If I have to be super tough, I can do it. I can, display a high testosterone neurosignature when it's necessary, but it exhausts me. So for example, during one day, I can use different traits associated with the dopamine or serotonin system or testosterone or estrogen. And also, as we get older, our neurotransmitter levels tend to decline for all of us. So we tend to become less extreme. Those who did a lot of sensation seeking in their 20s will be calmer when they get to their 60s. So that they all tend to go down. And of course, life events can change you. Experience can change you. So these are about 50% biology and 50% environment. And yes, they can do change, though I do encourage you to always try to change in line with what feels good and not to attempt to become, for example, a sensation seeker if you're not. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you to my producer, Melanie, who's been pulling up your comments in the background. Thank you, Melanie. I want to do a little trick here. Melanie rocks, so thank you for this. And I hope to see you all on Thursday at the Nordic Business Forum Speaker Contest. I'll be on at 5 p.m. Central European time. I think that's 6 p.m. Finnish time. Join me there. You can find it on the speaker contest. Watch all 6 speakers and then you can vote. I'd be happy and lucky to see some of you there again. So have a great day and let's meet soon again. Thank you.